What's going on, everybody? East Tactics here, standing at my workstation. Thought I would just drop a quick preface video to the 6S Big Rock deep dive. You know, if you're just curious about some of the nuances, some of the details about the newest 6S Big Rock, watch this video. If you are curious about comparing it to the 6S Extreme Kraton, you might want to watch this video first and just get kind of all the details about the newest 6S Kraton. So before I jump into it though, I did want to say, you know, watching the boards, watching the different chatter that's going on with it, some of the things that I'm noticing with the newest 6S Big Rock that people are having some small problems with. The outdrive cups, they're bigger, they're still made out of Arrma metal, so they are breaking. If you do break an outdrive cup on the 6S Big Rock, watch this video, jump over to the smaller version from M2C. They are still stronger. Now, another problem that people are running into a little bit, when they get big air, they land really hard, sometimes with outdrive popping out. If you want, you can watch this video, get a few details on some of the fixes. Another fix is people are putting in like a small piece of like plastic tubing, maybe about 5 millimeters, a very small piece just right above the shock rod end. When you screw that shock rod end off, you put that tubing down first, and that just kind of dampens the amount of travel on the A-arms so that those dog bones don't jump out. But without further ado, let's jump right into this video. It's the same concept as before on the Kraton video where I just jumped over to their website, you know, just chatter about it a little bit, give you guys some insight, and hope you enjoy. Let's get to it.
Let's take a look at the Big Rock 6S. We have the 1/10 scale Big Rock and the new 1/7 scale Big Rock 6S. So what is it that makes this new 6S Big Rock? Why is it 1/7 scale instead of 1/6 scale? Well, you'll notice that the fire team, which I'll just check the box for that, is also a 1/7 scale 6S rig. So let it be noted that the chassis on the 6S Big Rock is the same chassis as the fire team, and the fire team shares the same chassis with the Mojave. So the Mojave is a longer body but much more narrow stance. A lot of the parts that come from Arrma are modular in the sense that, you know, the loadout for the Mojave, which is a desert buggy, and even the old school Senton, those had different wheelbases that were more in the medium range because they had different knuckles and whatnot. And to give you context into the new release of the 6S Big Rock as it compares to the fire team, you might think to yourself, all right, what is the difference between the fire team and the 6S new Big Rock? And quite frankly, the fire team took the Mojave chassis and added the Kraton arms, which are the longest loadout for arms and dog bones. However, the knuckles on the fire team come from the Typhon and the Italian, so they're smaller and a little bit less wide. So the fire team, which was one of Arrma's most latest releases as far as a new platform goes, was supporting the longest body, dubbing it the 1/7 scale claim, but it didn't quite come there all the way with the widest stance because the Kraton is wider. So you could tell that Arrma was holding out to release what would be considered the longest body, but also taking advantage of the widest stance available from their lineup. So now the 6S comes along, the 6S Big Rock. Now what they've added in addition to that is a much more intricate and advanced body. So the body itself, now keep this in mind as well. You may or may not have heard of this, but the chatter out there about people creating what they call the Kraton XL, what they've done is they've taken the body of the Mojave and the fire team and they've added all of the Kraton component. So basically the 6S Big Rock is the Kraton XL, only they've created a body that actually fits on it, whereas people before, when they've made that Kraton XL, they've had to add extension posts to the rear shock tower so that they could fit the body on. And you know, one of the coolest featurettes of this rig is the body that covers this elongated setup and all of its structure. Now when it comes to the size, you can see the size compared to the Kraton. Basically it's just bigger, it's longer, you know, that gives it the 1/7 scale. However, let's go into the exploded view so you can see this body and what I'm talking about. It's pretty insane. They've got a whole window dedicated to just the insides of this body. Like, look at this. All these components go up underneath the body to give it support and to provide it more durability. But yet it's definitely more complex. It also, the mounting system in the front end, it's got a plastic piece right there on the center of the hood, that actually holds itself in place, and then it's got rear body mounts on both sides, body clips. So let's talk about what is it other than the body that's going to make this thing unique. It's going to have, again, the longer Mojave chassis and the widest stance. What kind of differentials is it going to have? Well, the differentials are actually going to be the exact same differentials as the new Kraton Extreme version. It's going to have the EXB differentials, which we're all accustomed to. However, they're only going to have slip plates in the center, and then on the front and the rear, they've switched to the open setup, just like the Kraton Extreme EXB. The shocks, on the other hand, are going to be the exact same shocks as the Fireteam, which is a 1/7 scale rated, which means the springs themselves, instead of being 6.2 pounds of spring, it's 6.9. So almost a pound heavier duty when it comes to the springs. Now, I myself would rather have, if I was going to use stock springs from Arrma for my Kraton, I would probably rather have the 6.9 pound instead of the 6.2. But of course, I run third-party springs, which are 9-pound springs. And if you guys want to know more about my springs, watch this series here. So let's take a look at the Big Rock as far as what it's bringing to the table as far as features go. Alright, so it comes fully assembled and ready to run, so it's an RTR. It has detailed scale with 3 factory finished body colors. One of the things that I will say about the Big Rock is it does not have a wing mount or a wing, which in many cases is actually a huge protection for the rear end. Let's say you get some big air and you land on your tail, you're not going to have that Arrma Kraton rear wing mount and set up to protect the rear of the vehicle. So we'll take a look in a minute to see what they have to protect it. Alright, it has an updated 6S LiPo capable Spectrum power system, which is probably going to be the same ESC that's going to be coming with the new 6S Extreme Kraton. It's all black, aggressive style, easy to use clipless front body mounts, integrated roll hoop and bed for bash ready Arrma toughness. This is talking about those components up under the body. It's going to have a 665 steel gear waterproof steering servo and the Spectrum SL T3 receiver. Let's see, anodized aluminum chassis. Oh yeah, we want to take a quick look at this rear bumper protection. It looks like it's got a Mojave style, like a component that locks underneath it as a skid plate and then comes up as a protector for the rear end. It also has a buffer piece, that circular piece you see there, as well as the bumper itself. Now let's look at the shock towers. The shock tower here is ARA 32687. Looks like it does have more holes, so my guess is it's going to be a different. Yeah, so comparing the two Kratons, they have the same exact look, right? But when you jump over to this one, it does have a much different shape to it. So it is going to have a unique shock tower. The question is it going to be the same shock tower as the Fireteam? So one way to find out is to jump over here, roll to the trusty user manual, instruction manuals, and we're going to check out the Fireteam, and we're going to look at the exploded view. And yes, the Fireteam shock tower, ARA 32687. ARA 32687. So the shock towers and the setup on the Big Rock are the same as the Fireteam. The 6S Big Rock is really the Fireteam with Kraton wider stance and knuckles and a new redesigned body, rear and front bumpers. It's not going to be taking advantage of the new Extreme Bash Kraton servo, but I'm sure it will be compatible with it. It is taking advantage of all the same differentials. As far as the chassis braces go, it might even be the same here. Chassis brace is ARA 32620 on the Fireteam. Chassis brace here is ARA 32620 on the new 6S Big Rock. The motor itself is probably going to be the same. Yes. The motor is the SM1700, and on the Fireteam, it's the SM1700, and on the Kraton SM1700. So all of them are going to be using the same motor and the same new ESC that is touted to be waterproof and have a slightly higher punch. So now let's see what they talk about in regards to other features for the 6S Big Rock, the new one. And don't get me wrong, that thing looks really cool. And for the price at $699, which is the same price as the new Extreme Basher, faster and tougher, the scale crew body and optional light kit. So you can get a light kit for this, which that's just cool. It has the D-Boots Ragnarok V2 tires, which let's take a look at them here. AR 550-109 versus the new Extreme tires. AR 550-059. So yeah, here's your difference. So the tires for the Big Rock have more of a road look to them. They're flatter. Their traction has that sort of complementary look to what an actual truck would look like, versus your Kraton tires, which have more of a rounded stance, a little bit more grippy for bashing and stuff like that. So that's interesting. All right, adjustable oil-filled shocks. The oil-filled shocks on these, are they emulsion? I don't think so. So yeah, these are the classic aluminum shock caps. These are not the emulsion style upgraded version that you're going to see with the Arrma Kraton Extreme EXB. Classic SLT3 system. Alright, the servo itself on the Big Rock is SMP 665, and then on the new Kraton EXB Extreme, same one, SMP 665, same servo. Alright, the motor does come with its own heatsink and fan, and there you go. There you have it. So let's just jump back to the Arrma homepage here. Alright guys, well that pretty much sums up this overview. This was more of a just sit down with East Tactics and scroll through the website and kind of understand the nuances and the differences between what the new offerings are. It seems like in my niche, as far as my age and my excitement level, the 6S line and the 1/5 scale, 1/7 scale, 1/8 scale, anything below that is less interesting. Maybe those are more for your younger audience, or for maybe your children if you want to get an RC car from Arrma. For them, they have a lot smaller scale rigs that are great for them, so don't forget about them. But as far as the newest stuff, the Arrma Kraton Extreme EXB and the new 6S Big Rock, I hope that this overview and traverse of their website was enlightening to you. Please leave a like in the description and a thumbs up for the video, and make sure to stay tuned for future videos coming from East Tactics, guys, and I will see you in the next one. East Tactics out.